Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Hi Miso. Yes, I did say hello. That's your cue, you little baby. Oh, hello. What a kitty. Sorry, I got distracted, who knows why. Welcome to my channel, Caffeine Queen Crafts. I am Sarah. This is Miso. And today we're coming at you with a WIP and Chat. So sweet, such a cute heart. You want to be on YouTube, don't you? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You little YouTube star. I know I encourage her. I am the worst, but she's so soft and snuggly, I can't help it. Okay, today we are working on Boreas by William Waterhouse. This kit is from Jaded Gem Shop. Now that Miso's moved, you can see the original artwork. I'm doing this kit for Summer with the Masters 2025. It's my 7th start of 2025. Excuse me, sorry. And it has 49 colors, 2 ABs, 1 glimmer. So we are working like kind of right, lift it up a little so you can see, right here, like at the very base of the tree. It's the last section in this row. Get my stuff out of my caboodle. Let's see. I've been using this pen. I like to use the same pen for every kit. And what are we feeling? Feeling kind of breakfasty, so we're gonna go with Fruity Pebble-ish from Pure Bliss Wax Co. And where's that? Here we go. Actually, we're gonna do Super Sticky. Okay. All right. So, this pen is from Diamond Art Club's Amazon storefront. It's not Twist and Pick. It's just one of their standard upgrades. Came in a pack of 2. Pretty reasonably priced, I thought. I'm just taking the old wax out, which I like to do every time I start a new section. And I have no idea what was in here before. It looks like it was patty wax was in here before. Okay. Sorry, clang. So, Super Sticky from Patty Wax is gonna go in the single placer. My drills all ready to go. Okay. And then this is Fruity Pebble-ish from Pure Bliss Wax Co. I got it in just like a sample pack where she just grabbed 3 random scents from what she had in stock. That really smells like cereal, which I love. Okay. Yep. And the putty is not super soft today. It feels pretty good. I'm surprised because it's really hot and humid here. So, and then this tray is from Forever Young, which I also got off Amazon. It has this little spout you can stick in, and then you put it here in the lid, which has got this little thing, and your drill can sit at an angle. I've really been loving that. And then this little cover minder, Fueled by Coffee and Anxiety, I got from Patty Wax. When I saw it, I had to have it. So cute. I got my iced coffee. And we are ready to get started. So, how I've been kind of feeling doing this kit. Every kit I do is a little different. I start at different points on different kits. I'm probably going to finish off this 310 during this WIP and Chat. I start at different points on different kits. And I do different color orders on different kits. And for this kit, I've really been feeling, I start with 310, which is this heart symbol. I don't know if you can see it. And then I move on to 939, which is the pound sign, the number sign, or the hashtag sign, depending on how old you are. I always say it's the pound sign unless I'm actually using it as a hashtag. And then I just sort of, after I do those two, I just sort of look at it and I'm like, all right, well, what color seems like it has the most after them? This section is looking a little more color blocky to me than the rest of it has been. So it's a lot of 310 today. Probably because we're in the tree. The whole bottom of this kit, it's looking pretty dark to me. So I'm wondering how this is going to look when I'm done. I'm curious. If this kit's going to look as dark as it does without the drills down. And I mean, there's a lot of 310 and 939. And 939, 310, if you don't know, is that black. And then 939 is like a deep navy color. The whip wheel has been favoring this one lately. I spin a whip wheel to every time I finish a section. Like, what are we going to work on? And I'm not surprised because I did give, so like on my app that I use for my whip wheel, you can set like how big the triangle is. Trash. And I did give this one double. Like all my other whips are one, but I gave this one double. I've been giving double to any kit I'm working on for an event that's going on. Which has been nice. Oh. So I usually finish 2 sections a day with my whip wheel. And one of them has always been, Boreas, because my whip wheel is having a bit of a love affair with it, because I kind of told it to have a love affair with it, which is nice. And then my other whips right now are, I'm still working on the 8 of Swords from Diamond Art Studio UK by Moonshape Monday. I've been working on that one since April, but I think I'm going to finish it before the month's out. I only have 7 sections left on it. So, knock on wood. I'm going to actually knock on wood. Knock on wood. This is going to be the month for that one. And then I've also got the Drinks mini kit from Diamond Art Club. That one's sort of just on the whip wheel as like a quick snack one, like just, you know, something you can do to like finish something real quick. Like it's kind of when you roll it, it's like a just quick little sweet treat snack to sort of get you through. I like to have one kit like that on the whip wheel for like my own sanity. And then my other whip, because I have 4 right now, so my other whip is Elegance Fuchsia, also from Diamond Art Studio UK by Helcorio, with 198 colors in it. It is currently taking up every Elizabeth Ward tray I've got, all 4 of them. So I have a whole video on kitting that one up, which you should check out. That was like a multi-day process, probably took me upwards of 6 hours, but it was really my own fault because I kitted up by color, and then I was like, I don't know if I like having it kitted up by color. Let's kit it up by symbol. And I went and I kitted it up by symbol, but then after I did a square with it kitted up by color, I did a square with it kitted up by symbol, And I was like, oh, I don't like it kitted up by Symbol. Just because of how I'm feeling drawn to do the kit. I'm feeling drawn to do the kit where I start with whatever color symbol there's the most of. And then I just go around. Like, you know, if there's a big swath of fuchsia pink going through, and then there's like usually another color like that circles around it. I do that, like, you know, that's how I feel drawn to do the kit. And I'm not loving having to switch back and forth between which tray I have open. And like, I was just hunting more and switching between trays more often. By trays, I mean my Elizabeth Ward trays. So I was switching between my Elizabeth Ward storage containers more when it was kitted up by symbol and not color. And I did not love that. So I'm going to switch it back. I haven't yet. I decided that's what I'm going to do the next time it comes up on the WIP wheel, is I'm just going to switch it back. And we're going to call that doing a section of it. Ooh, I love that super sticky pop. And then a fun thing kind of happened with the drinks mini kits from Diamond Art Club. So the other day I was babysitting my best friend's kids, who are teenagers. They're like 13 and 12. So they're older. And they were just hanging out with me one evening. And I said to the younger one, he saw, like, you know, the diamond paintings I had out, because I diamond painted the dining room table. And my dining room table is huge, so, like, I just leave them on one end of it and pull them out and, like, pull them out as I need to. It's just easier to keep them laying flat that way. And he saw, I think I had the 8 of Swords out. And he saw it. He was like, that's so cool. I want to try that. Can I, like, you know, and I looked through my stash, and I had 2 mini kits. And I was like, well, you know, we're not going to do I'm not going to let you do a section on one of the big kits, because, like, those are a process for me. But I do have these mini kits, so if you want to pick one from these mini kits, you can pick one from the mini kit. And he picked drinks. His other option was the National Parks kit from Paint Gem. I think his mom's a little disappointed he didn't pick that one. She loves national parks. And I thought this would be something he did for like 20 minutes. But he like got into it. He was going through my pens and looking at all the different putties and waxes that I had and picking ones out that he liked. And he decided he wanted to do the lemonade one from the drink kit. That was his personal favorite. And I picked another one out. I did the coffee one. And we sat and diamond painted and chatted pretty much the whole time his parents were out. Like, I'm talking hours. And his mom came home and she was like, I knew he was going to want to diamond paint. Like, when I told him he was going over to your house, he was like, I knew that you were going to have diamond paintings out because you're you, and that he was going to see them and he was going to be like, that's awesome. I want to try that. And I was like, well, he did. And I got some mini kits for him. So he absolutely loved it. And I went over to her house a couple days later to pick something up. And they had a bunch of Make Market kits, like Make Market diamond painting kits, sitting out. And apparently he loves it and has been diamond painting a lot, like, on his own. And she's been looking for something for them to do together. So she was like, well, I'll try it with you. I'll sit with you and I'll diamond paint. And she has now also become addicted. And they were so sweet. She comes over almost every Wednesday so that we can sit around, eat Chinese food, and watch true crime after the kids go to bed. Her kids at her house, obviously. My kid here. And she came over with this cardboard, like, frame thing from Diamond Dots that the two of them had made for me together. With, like, those blue and white tiles on it and lemons. And I love lemons. It kind of started as a joke, my love of lemons, but he apparently picked it out for me and made it for me because he wanted to say thank you for teaching him how to diamond paint, because he loves it so much. He left his lemonade diamond painting at my house because he's like, well, I'll just do it the next time Mom brings me over. It'll be something, I'll have something to do here. And I'm like, okay, cool, sweetie. You do you. So now I'm like, okay, we always got to have some little minis on hand now, I guess, for when kids come over who want to learn to diamond paint. And that made my heart so happy that I gave him something he loves, you know, and that he'll have something to do now when he comes over to my house besides, you know, hang out and play Switch and ask his mom when they're going home. I'm kidding. My house is something of a den of iniquity to them. They come over, they get to play video games or, you know, play games on my Switch. So, because there's a couple games on my Switch that their mom says are too violent for them to have on their Switch, but they can play at my house, which is really just what we say so that they'll want to come, so that they don't mind coming over and hanging out here so that they can hang out and do their thing while we do our thing. But now they also have diamond painting, which I just love. It made me really happy that I got to share this hobby, this very soothing hobby with someone. And you know, my friends said they've been sitting around, they've been listening to audiobooks and diamond painting together, and that it's just been so fun. So that's like my update in terms of diamond paintings. Whew. What else has been going on? Let's see. So, last weekend, you know, the lighting in this dining room has always been off. When we got the house, the old owner has some overhead lighting, but it wasn't like a permanently installed overhead lighting unit. And he took it with him when he moved, which was his right, obviously. But there has not been any overhead lighting at this dining room table. And I intend to try, and I'm filming this WIP and Chat right now during the day. But it just gets super dark in here at night. And I have the hydroponic garden in here, which helps, but you know, that's on a lighting schedule because it's growing plants. So when it turns off at 10, it can get super dark. So my aunt and she'd never been to IKEA before. And I took her to IKEA for the first time because we were like, well, we'll go pick out like an overhead lighting fixture to get installed because we have a guy who says that he can install it after we pick it out. And so we went to get that, and she had never been to IKEA before, and oh my God, did she lose her mind. Like, we were hungry, so we started up in the cafeteria, and she just was like, this is good food. These Swedish meatballs are nice, and blah, blah, blah. And these are some of the best French fries I ever had. We brought, my daughter's code name on this channel is Holly. We brought Holly with us, and Holly was sitting there in her little D&D onesie and eating French fries and having a good time. And then we went to the showroom, and we accidentally started backwards. So we started off in the kids section, and my God, we wound up getting a lot of stuff that wasn't even on the list. We went for an overhead light fixture and a bookshelf. We got the bookshelf, we got the overhead light fixture. We also got a standing light for the living room section of this great room because I have a combo living room, dining room area. And we also got like a little table because my aunt was just like, we need to get Holly a table so that we can, because there's a balcony on our house. She's like, so we can put it out on the balcony so that we can sit out there and have tea parties as she gets older. And it was just really sweet. Like, my aunt really loved IKEA. And as she was looking at the prices, and she's like, these are so cheap. I always thought that, you know, IKEA was super expensive and stupid, and then you had to put it together. And I'm like, well, part of why it's cheap is because you do have to put it together. She was like, right, but can't we hire people to do that? I was like, can, but I do know how to do it. And I have friends that are willing to help me do it if I need it, so that seems like a waste of money to me. And she lectured me about that, but you know, when we got home, I didn't put anything big together. I put the lights and the kid table together, and I was done in 20 minutes, and she's like, I thought this would be way more complicated. I'm like, well, some of them are. Some of them aren't. You know, kids' tables where you just have to pop the legs in, and chairs where you just have to pop the legs and backs in, and a lamp are pretty simple to put together, but like a dresser is going to be more complicated. I also helped my friend, the one whose kids I taught to diamond paint. Her husband got a custom D&D table where like he picked the measurements and the wood finishes on it, and it like opens up so you can put your figurines on the inside and then cover it, and like have just a normal table. And she and I put that together before his game night, and it turned out really well, and it only took us like a little over an hour. That table's actually really cool. It has like little like desk pieces that you, when it's open, you can like put these little desk things on it so that your players still have like room to roll their dice and everything. It was awesome. But yeah, still waiting on the guy to come and install that overhead lighting fixture. Excited for that, to finally get some decent lighting in this room. Because, you know, we use this room a lot at night. We play cards here on Fridays. We just hang out a lot in this room. So it should have good lighting. During the day, it has great lighting because it's just a wall of windows that looks out into the backyard. But at night, super dark. What else? So every Tuesday, I try to take my kid, Holly, who's under a year and a half. She's a new one. She's a new 1-year-old, a newer 1-year-old. She and I go on an outing every Friday, or not Friday, every Tuesday, because I don't work Tuesdays. That'll change in the fall. Right now I'm just tutoring, but I don't work Tuesdays. And I haven't for a while, so I've just, you know, tried to take her somewhere fun. And this week we went to a local splash pad at a local park. For those of you that don't know, splash pads are like, I'm sad they weren't more popular when I was a kid. Splash pads are like just this trail of water fountains that kids can play in. Like, you know, there's like ones that shoot out of the ground. There's like arches they can run through with mist. There's dinosaur things that hold water in a pail and then drop. There's all kinds of different splash pads. Like I've seen ones where they have flowers that rotate and spit out of the ground. Like there's tons of splash pads. They're super fun. And she'd never been to a splash pad before. So, you know, as soon as we got out of the car, like we parked right by the splash pad, and as soon as we got out of the car, she was pointing at the splash pad going, da, 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 making her little, you know, excited noises. And oh my God, did she roll with it. She like had zero, like I thought maybe we were gonna have to warm up or something, get comfortable, because she sometimes can be very like, she doesn't like to play with other kids. She's an only child in a very quiet, mellow household. And so I was worried that she was going to be like overstimulated, but no, she was just immediately like, yes, let's go. And she had like 3 water features that she really loved, and she was just going back and forth between all 3 of them. It was adorable. Like it was low-key adorable. But I did see a lot of that. She prefers to play solo a lot of the times. Like she doesn't like to play with other kids sometimes. She finds other kids to be overwhelming. And a lot of kids stopped to like try to interact with her because she's a baby and she's so cute. She can like walk now. So she is a toddler, but she still has a very baby look about her because she's a young toddler. Some people in my life call kids like that waddlers. They're like, they walk, but they're wobbly. They're waddlers. They're waddling. They're wobbling or waddling, you know. Not super strong walkers yet, and they still just have a baby look about them. And so a lot of kids did stop and like try to interact with her and like show her things. And every time she would just reach out and she would gently push them away. So I need to teach her to say, no, thank you. No, thank you. So that we learn to, you know, set boundaries with our words and not with pushing. Because it is gentle. And I know she's not like developmentally capable of saying no thank you yet. And like knowing how to express that. And she's setting boundaries, which is good. We just are going to have to learn how to do it in a more appropriate way that doesn't involve, you know, pushing. And I guess a gentle push is a baby way of being like, no, thank you. So she's trying to be as polite about it as she can be, but I just, you know, I thought it was funny. In fact, the other day, her daycare, when I picked her up, they told me a story. They've got like 2 play areas. Her daycare is pretty small. There's only 4 other kids there. And they've got these 2 areas. They've got like, you know, the regular play area and then a soft play area for the babies. And they separate out the 2 areas with a baby gate. But everyone who's mobile right now is kind of at the stage where they can, you know, start switching, like going between the soft play and the regular play. So Holly was in the soft play area with just her and one other little boy. And he left the soft play area to like go see what his sister was doing. And she'd been hanging back while he was in there, you know, she'd just been sort of watching him. And as soon as he left the soft play area, she stood up, she walked over to the baby gate and she closed it. She locked everybody out of the soft play area. And the daycare workers told me she was just having a great time. Like, they didn't notice right away that she'd closed the door. Like, by door, I mean the door to the baby gate. They could still see and hear her the whole time. Like, it's open. But they didn't realize right away that the gate was closed. And so she was in there playing by herself. And they were like, we've never seen her, like, so happy. And then they were like, you know, when you drop her off, because she gets dropped off earlier than the other kids do. Like, when you drop her off early and it's just her here, she does actually play way more when she's alone. And I'm like, yeah, she's an only child. She doesn't... She's an only child. Part of why she goes to daycare, even when I'm not working full-time in the summer, is to socialize and get used to being around other kids. Because, you know, I can't offer her that. She does need to get used to being around other kids more. She just likes her. I love, though, seeing her, like, setting boundaries. Not even a year and a half and setting boundaries. Although there was something that happened yesterday when I was at spin class. So I go to the gym for spin class and I leave her at Child Watch for kind of the same reasons. Well, first of all, I'm a single mom. And I do live with my dad. My dad and I live together, and I could ask him to watch her, but, you know, he has his own life, and asking him to watch her feels unnecessary, especially since, you know, she, like, can go to Child Watch at the gym. And I think that's a good opportunity for her to get used to being around other adults, other people, other kids. And I will say, though, Child Watch is more overstimulating than her daycare. Like, I walk in there sometimes and I get overstimulated because there's just kids. Like, there's, you know, at her daycare, there's like 4 kids besides her on any given day. So there's like, you know, her and 4 other kids, and it's just quieter. Sorry, I just heard a bang. I think it was the neighbor's garage. Anyway. Her daycare is just quieter than Child Watch is because there's more than 5 kids in Child Watch. And so she sometimes has a harder time at Child Watch. And yesterday, when I went to pick her up after class, they were being so weird. Like, I know she has a hard time in Child Watch. I know. It's not her favorite place to be. They'll often say she just sort of, you know, likes to sit in one of the vibrating buzzy chairs and watch what's ever on the TV. And they're like, but tonight for some reason she was not having that. And she was just really upset. And she just wandered around the soft play area, you know, put her head on the floor and cried. And then she'd stop crying and she'd just sit on the floor with her head down. I'm like, that's what she does when she tantrums. So it sounds to me like she was having a moment. Like, yeah, and she'd get upset when other moms would come and pick up their babies, and you weren't back yet, so she would get upset. And then it was just a very strange conversation. Like, they were complaining to me about her for 10 minutes, and I'm like, it seems to me like these are all very standard things for any kid to do when they're at child watch and they don't want to be there and they miss their mom. And I understand that you guys can't, like, hold them all the time. But, like, did you provide her any comfort? Did you, you know, like, can you hold her just even for 5 or 10 minutes while she calms down? If you can't, I understand. I don't want anyone to get in trouble because they do get reprimanded if they hold the kids all the time. They're not supposed to hold the kids all the time. And they just sort of didn't really hear any of my suggestions. And then they were like, yeah, she didn't listen to us either. Which I was confused about because I'm like, she's not even a year and a half old. Like, what were you trying to get her to do that she wasn't listening? Like, was she being unsafe? Hold on. Sorry, my dad came up and he does not like being on camera. Yeah, so anyway, I was like, what do you mean she doesn't listen? Was she being unsafe? And they were like, no, she wasn't being unsafe. We just told her, you know, like that she's a big girl and she needs to stop pouting and go play. My stomach, sorry. I don't want to be the mom. That's like, well, you know, it's your fault. I know everything. I really don't want to be that mom, but you know, she's not even a year and a half old. She doesn't understand like that concept of like lecturing or anything. She understands hello, goodbye, yay, and stop, don't do that. That's not safe. Like really basic things. And lecturing a kid her age, it's just not going to have, it would be like trying to lecture paint. Like, you might as well be lecturing a wall for all the results that's going to give you. Because, you know, she's also, I don't want to be sassy or anything, but, you know, I am an educator. I work in special ed and interventions. And I've worked with kids who need like heavy interventions and kids who just need academic interventions. And I'm like, that's just not how you handle any kid being upset. And they were complaining to me for so long. And I didn't want to be a Karen, but I was just standing there and I'm like, why are you telling me this? Because these all seem like standard behaviors that kids who are in child watch feel when they like don't want to be there and they miss their parents. Like, this has to be something that you've dealt with before. Like, what are you saying? Are you saying I can't bring her back? Like, what is going on? And if I can't bring her back, that's going to be a problem because, you know, like I said, I am a single parent and I could ask her grandpa to watch her, but he has plans sometimes during my spin class because my spin class is in the evening and I don't think that's what they were saying. I think they were just complaining. But I didn't feel like it was appropriate, and I didn't feel like any of the things they were trying to calm her down were appropriate. And I understand that they would get in trouble for holding her the whole time, and she would probably prefer to be held the whole time. And if that's not an option, but like, you know, she's little. She's little, and she has big feelings, but she doesn't have the capabilities of processing and regulating herself yet. She needs, any kid her age would need adult help with that. And by adult help, I would mean like, you know, offering comfort and, you know, giving her hugs, holding her for a while. Not a whole lot, just a while. It was a really weird vibe. And I don't want to be a Karen about it. I don't. But it just struck me as a really inappropriate, unprofessional conversation to be having. And I also didn't want to be a know-it-all, but I'm like, why are you lecturing a baby? Like, just why are you lecturing a baby? It makes no sense. But there were 2 of them and only one of me, so I was outnumbered. And they seemed to be so confident, but they were just like, you know, she wasn't listening to us. I was like, am I wrong? Like, am I wrong? Is she at the age where I should be having these higher expectations than her? And I'm just being too lenient of a parent? And I texted my teacher friend group. And they were all immediately like, no, Sarah, no, you are correct. Like, that is not a developmentally appropriate way to handle a 1-year-old having a tantrum. Like, because that's what she was doing. And I just was like, oh my God. It was crazy. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I think I won't make a big deal out of it. But if it happens again, I'm going to say something. Sometimes I hate the Karens of the world because it makes it hard for people to know, like, okay, am I being a Karen or am I, like, just standing up for myself? I'm not going to go over their heads or anything like that, but, like, if they say something to me like that again, I'm going to be like, what? You do know that's not how you handle a kid having a tantrum, or at least a kid having a tantrum her age. Oy vey. It was a wild, wild night. But spin class was good. And that's part of the reason why I'm like, you know, we gotta work this out. Because I love that spin class and I don't want to give up that spin class. I can do spin at home, but I prefer going to class. Because, you know, there's more people. I work out more. I work harder when I'm at an actual physical class over a virtual one. And I'll do virtual ones. Like, I'm probably going to do a virtual one later today. But I prefer the in-person classes. So, maybe that's just me. We're almost done with this 310. And once I do the 939, that dark navy blue, the section's going to be over halfway done. It's crazy. All right. So I think we can talk what I'm watching. I've been on a big true crime kick lately. Like, I've been watching Love Island. I'm not going to say a lot because spoilers. Not everybody's always caught up on Love Island. But when I'm not watching Love Island, I've been watching a lot of true crime. And other diamond painting content creators. I was watching Diet Coke and Diamonds weekly vlog, and she was talking about this Titan, the documentary about the Titan Submersible on Netflix, and was talking about how great it was. I was like, oh, I have to check that out. I remember the Titan being like, I had a newborn when the Titan went under, and even I knew what was up with the Titan Submersible when it went under, and I was in a complete baby haze. That's how big that was, and that documentary is crazy. I don't want to give spoilers in case you want to watch it yourself, but, like, there's parts of it that are just chilling. Like, they have a lot of audio of the carbon fiber. So carbon fiber is, like, you know, Basically think of carbon, like metal string strands strung together to make like, you know, a very, oopsies, sorry, that was loud, a very big cloth, not cloth, but like to come together to make a sheet of metal, which is what they use for the hull. And they have audio collected during the dives where you can hear the strands popping and breaking. And it's just bone chilling. And then the other big thing I've been into is documentaries about the Gilgo Beach serial killer. Like I said, a lot of true crime. Come on. This one's got a tail, so I'm gonna put it aside for trash. I save my trash. Not because I want to, know how much there is, but because we play cards here on Friday night. And one of my cousins comes over, and he likes to have like fidget things while we play cards, like, something to do with his hands. And what he really loves is when I've saved my, pieces of trash and drills, and he likes to take the needle nose pliers. I have a set that I saved just for him that doesn't have any wax or anything in it. He likes to take it and put them in, like, sort them by color. So I save my trash. Not because I'm trying to, see how much trash there is. And when it gets too full, I do toss it. But I save my, like, after Friday, when he comes over and he plays cards after he sorted them, I toss them. Sounds so weird, but I save my trash for him to sort and then throw them out. But it brings him joy. He loves it. So if it's what he likes, I try to be a good hostess. Anyway, the Gilgo Beach serial killer. So I don't want to go into too many details because people come to this channel to relax. But that serial killer also really struck my interest because I was living in New York City while they were looking for him. They discovered his dumping site in 2011, which is right when I started college and moved to New York. And over the years, they were still looking for him. And I actually used to go to Gilgo Beach because I had one of my best friend's parents lived on Long Island. We would go to Long Island in the summer a lot to go, like, spend, when her parents would go out of town. We would go up to their house for, the weekend. We would go babysit their house, and we would go to the beach. And it was just a really good time. But we would drive by Gilgo. Or we would go to one of the beaches around it. And it's chilling. For those of you that didn't follow the case, it was a guy, he was dumping bodies on Gilgo Beach of sex workers. And he lived in Long Island. He worked in Manhattan, commuted in every day. And I just, when they finally caught him, I wasn't living there anymore. But I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, I could have taken a bus with that guy, or been on a train with that person. That's insane and that's terrifying. Whew. So, Peacock just released a documentary where they interview his daughter, his stepson, and his wife. And kind of go into the house. Because it's a mess. And that poor woman, his poor wife, is like totally in a state of delusion. She's like, how can everyone believe all these ridiculous things? How could anyone think a family man would do this? Like, blah, 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 blah. And, people don't just believe it just because, the authorities say so. People believe it because there's DNA evidence. And she goes, that's all circumstantial. And I'm like, DNA evidence is the opposite of circumstantial. But just you hear her talk, it's like, oh, honey, I think you're brainwashed. Very sad. So, and then my friend and I, who watch true crime every week, we started the Karen Reed documentary on HBO, which is about a woman who claims she was set up and framed for her boyfriend's murder. And it's giving O.J. Simpson vibes. It's just giving O.J. Simpson vibes. With like the media frenzy set up around it and everything. I'm just giving O.J. Simpson vibes. Yep. And then in terms of what I'm reading, I have been listening to, on audiobook, The Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson, which is the second book in the Stormlight Archive series. I was trying to read it hard copy, but it was such a big book, and I have not felt like physically sitting down and reading. So I was like, you know what, reading is supposed to be fun. And if we are in a state where we need to just primarily listen to audiobooks, then that's what we're going to do. Because usually, it used to be I would, try to read physical books, and I'd give myself 2 audiobooks a month. I had a whole system in place, but then I broke my reading streak on Storygraph a couple weeks ago. And I was having a hard time getting into reading. And I was like, you know what, this is not, like, I like having systems in place and things to follow, but when they stop working, I have a hard time pivoting. And that can make it hard for me to, like, enjoy my hobbies. So I just went ahead and I was like, you know what? We're gonna pivot. We're not gonna be prissy and, try to stick to arbitrary rules we've given ourselves, which we enjoy doing. We're gonna pivot. And so I've been listening to it on audiobook. And it's been good. I've been, parenting with one wireless earbud in and listening to books, because Holly doesn't want me on my phone anymore when I'm with her. So when she's making me watch Cinderella for the millionth time, I now have just an earbud in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, Lucifer, oh yes, bibbidi bobbidi boo, while like listening to Brandon Sanderson books. And I think that's been good for everyone, because like I get my relaxing time, she feels attended to. I can watch her and talk to her while an audiobook is playing in my ear, because something they don't tell you is being a stay-at-home mom is so boring sometimes. So boring. I'm very fortunate that I got to do it for as long as I have, but my God, is it boring. So I'm looking forward to going back to work in the fall. It's going to be exciting. This blue is so dark, I feel like you can't tell the difference between it and the black. Like I can if I like really tilt my head. But yeah, no, it's crazy. Oh yeah. So I think we're at about an hour. So I'm going to stop it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that your caffeine is hitting just right and that your crafting is going well. And if you made it all the way to the end, leave a comment down below with what you've been working on while we've been hanging out this past hour. I would really love to hear it. So, bye guys. Have a good day.